It's a beautiful night for baseball. And live from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds in Game 2 of this three-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, Old Timers Day this afternoon here at Dodger Stadium. I'm glad to see you survive.
It was all right. I'm walking still, and I'm here.
Upright and taking nourishment, and so too are the Dodgers, but they begin the night 3 games behind the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies won again. They've won 7 straight. The Dodgers, a big return last night from Justin Turner. It took 39 games for Turner to hit his first home run coming off the DL. All he needed was 4 pitches. So the Dodgers offense back in gear last night, and tonight the rotation is back in gear. Brandon Morrow's been sent out. Alex Wood, the pitcher of the month in May, making his first start in June.
Yep, his 9th start of the year, 5-0 in May during that pitcher of the month, and he has absolutely been fantastic for the Dodgers, remaking the mechanics, saying he wanted to be a starter, earned that position through injury and effectiveness out of the bullpen, but now in the rotation, the only thing that took him out was this DL, and he wants to get right back to that success. All 3 pitches should be working again, the fastball, the changeup, and the breaking ball. Dodgers hoping he has no rust on him.
Alex Wood enters the game tonight with the longest shutout streak in Major League Baseball, 25 1/3 innings. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have the lineups and first pitch in Game 2 of the 3-game series. The Dodgers and Reds are coming up.
making their way to the third base line, as well as Tommy Lasorda back in the home dugout. Legends upon legends ascending today at Dodger Stadium. Hello everybody, I'm Alana Rizzo. Dodger Stadium was the host of the Old Timers game today. Of course, many former players. In fact, players representing all 6 of the different championship teams were here today. Orel Hershiser, Don Newcomb, Tommy Lasorda, Manny Mota, Ron Cey, Steve Garvey, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Rick Monday, Steve Yeager, Steve Sachs, among many others here to take on each other in the game. It was Team Gray against Team White. Team White managed by Tommy Lasorda, Team Gray managed by Joe Torre. Just a lot of fun. And Orel Hershiser on the hill today, guys.
And back up here in the booth with us, and we're proud to report you're okay.
I'm erect. I am here. I am alive. I'm well, and maybe still sweating.
Here's game 2 of this Dodger Red series, in the Red starting lineup, brought to you by Honda, beginning with Jose Peraza at second base. Billy Hamilton the night off. Zach Cozart, the second leading hitter in the National League, is short. Joey Votto is at first base. Then you've got a Eugenio Suarez at third. Scott Schebler with 17 home runs, tied with Votto for the league lead. Devin Mesoraco behind the plate. Scooter Gennett, of course, player of the week in one day this week with the 4 home runs and 10 total runs. You've got Patrick Kevlahan and Asher Wojciechowski. And Alex Wood is making his 9th start of the year.
Coming off the DL, missed 2 starts with a little inflammation around his shoulder and his SC joint. That's kind of where your collarbone meets your chest a little bit, and he is feeling fine. Had a couple of side works with Rick Honeycutt and trying to knock the rust off, and hopefully he'll be on his game, because before the DL he was the pitcher of the month in May.
Peraza stepping in at .257 with a couple of home runs and 18 runs batted in. It's just a picture-perfect 69 degrees at game time on this Saturday night in Southern California. Wood's first pitch after missing 13 games, essentially a couple of starts, is a call strike, and it's 0-1. Cozart on deck and Votto to follow, and quickly Wood gets ahead. It is 0-2. What to watch for from Wood early tonight?
Well, first of all, that fastball command, which he's used in the first 2 pitches. His secondary best pitch is his changeup, but the curveball has come along this year, and those 3 pitches have served him very well.
The 0-2 to first base. Gonzalez takes it by himself. We're underway. Closed captioning tonight brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel.
Shortstop number 2, Zach Cozart.
Now here's Zach Cozart. He's been on base with a hit or a walk in 31 straight games. Second leading hitter in the National League and in the major leagues. And his on base percentage .427. Votto on deck. They play Cozart to pull, but now the second baseman Utley, they go into a full shift. Cozart fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Cozart's hitting almost 100 points higher than his career average this year. Talk about a breakout season. Yet it is the Dodgers shortstop, Corey Seager, at the moment, the league leader in votes for the All-Star game. About a month away now. No balls, 2 strikes.
And no rust on Alex Wood as Corey Seager is backing him up at shortstop. Alex, all of his pitches strike so far. Time on the DL. He's healthy and looks like he's locked back in.
Did he go around? Up. That's first base umpire Pat Hoberg. He'll be calling balls and strikes tomorrow afternoon. Bellinger, Taylor, and Puig in the outfield. They're straight away. And now Utley moves to the first base side of second with the count 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Zach Cozart. So the Rockies win again. At the moment, the Dodgers are 3 games behind Colorado. Dave Roberts well aware of that. The Rockies are now 18 games over 500. And the Cubs lost their 4th straight. Call strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Alex Wood.
Alex with his tall delivery throws a lot of elbows and knees at you, and the ball is right there in the high and away quadrant.
And here comes Joey Votto stepping in. Votto's at 299. Tied for the league lead in home runs, 4th in the league with 49 runs batted in. And it doesn't matter if it's a lefty or a righty facing him. One hop. Utley throws him out. A perfectly efficient inning for Alex Wood. Back off the disabled list. That's Asher Wojciechowski getting ready for his start. Brought to you by Honda, beginning with Chase Utley, Corey Seager, and then Chris Taylor. Through the middle of the lineup, Adrian Gonzalez riding a modest 5-game hitting streak. Bellinger hitting 5th, Grandal behind the plate. Forsythe has been struggling. Puig hitting 8th, Alex Wood pitching and batting 9th against Asher Wojciechowski.
Wojciechowski, fastball, slider change, doesn't really throw either one of his 2 off-speed pitches very much when he's behind in the count, but he will go default to the slider when he's ahead pretty much. The changeup is definitely his 3rd best pitch.
Wojciechowski lived in Romania for a year or 2 when he was a child. His family was on a mission assignment, and they moved back to the States. A supplemental 1st-round pick in the draft. 41st player chosen overall. So Utley at 231, 3 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Seager and Taylor to follow. And Chase bounces it off the dugout roof into the stands, and it's 0-2.
Wojciechowski's ERA at 4.5 coming in, and struggles with left-handed hitters. They're hitting almost 330 off of him, and righties are almost hitting 300 at 295. Doesn't strike out a whole lot of guys.
Utley into right field's going to drop in front of Kenley for a base hit. So Chase is aboard with a leadoff single to right.
Shortstop, number 5.
Good piece of hitting on this high pitch. Looks like a high changeup. Chase gets on top of it with his hands. The barrel slightly below them and hits the line drive.
Now Corey Seager stepping in. Seager's at 271, 8 home runs, 25 runs batted in. Walked a couple of times last night. Corey's been among the league leaders in bases on balls most of the year, so his on base percentage .380. But his bat has been quiet lately. Seager 4 out of 15 on the homestand. Utley has stolen 3 out of 4 this year. Wojciechowski's set. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. to Corey Seager. Chris Taylor on deck. Dodgers beat the Reds 5 out of 7 last year, 6 out of 7 in 2015. Into left, a long run, and it can't be made. Scooter Gennett, it's over his head. Here comes Utley, and he is going to score. Seager knocks in the run. The Dodgers take a 1-0 lead.
Seager really strokes this ball and hits it hard. It kind of curves on Scooter Gennett. He doesn't run a real good route here. Really starts like it's a straight line across, and it's got to be more of a J route. You see that jab step into the ground where he realizes I have made the wrong route. And that allows Seager to get the second and Utley to score easily.
The 6 pitches into the game, the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. And Chris Taylor stepping in at 3:10. Outside and low, 1 ball, no strikes. The Dodgers, coming into last night's game, had scored 2 runs or less in 4 straight and 7 of their previous 8. Last night they opened up with 7 runs and 9 hits. This is against a Red starting rotation that has the highest ERA in the league, 5.85. Into center field. Camped underneath it is Schebler. Tagging and going to third is Seager.
That's a productive out from Chris Taylor. Schebler not able to get back far enough to have some forward momentum for the throw to third, so Corey Seager sees him land on his back leg headed towards the fence. Easy tag up.
So here's Adrian Gonzalez. 1 home run, 22 runs batted in. Adrian's bat is beginning to awaken. He's hit safely in 13 of 14. Going 14 for his last 48. And riding a modest 5-game hitting streak, during which time he's had 6 hits.
Adrian's so good in these situations, looking for a pitch that he can elevate. He jumped at that first one because it was up in the strike zone.
So Wojciechowski in trouble already. Infield is in, and Gonzalez takes high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You'll see hitters like Adrian stand up a little bit higher in the batter's box, knowing that they want to get a ball that's elevated so they can hit a fly ball, not in his crouch looking for a sinker, actually looking for the ball up.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Gonzalez on the year, runners in scoring position, hitting .292. A single for Utley, a double for Seager. The Dodgers 1-0. We're in the bottom of the first with Bellinger on deck and the infield in. The 1-2 to Gonzalez. Well hit to right. Plenty deep enough for Seager to tag. The collision. Schebler scores easily. Oh, Schebler makes the catch. Seager scores easily, and it's 2-0. What they had there was a failure to communicate.
They caught the ball, and Adrian made a very nice swing on this. Shortened up. Got beat on a fastball prior to this, but shortens up right here. Just moves his hips out of the way. That drives the hands through. Gets the barrel on it. A little collision out there, but it was going to be a run for the Dodgers, and Cincinnati just fortunate to record the out.
When Schebler was with the Dodgers, I don't recall him ever playing center field. And you got Kivlahan, who's a rookie in right. So the Dodgers with the early 2-run lead. Bellinger, 12 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Home plate umpire Jerry Davis in his 34th big league season. Says he's fine. And whenever a catcher gets dinged by a foul tip, the umpire will walk the ball out. And in the case of Jerry Davis taking it off the mast, he's okay. But out of respect and deference, Devin Mesoraco goes out and buys some time for the veteran Jerry Davis. He's 64 in his 34th big league season. Dodgers with the early 2-0 lead. The shift on the right side of the infield for Bellinger, who wants to bunt it up the third base line. He's done it before. 3 bunt hits against the shift this year.
Something the Dodgers have worked on an awful lot, especially these left-handed pull hitters. Right-handed pull hitters, of course, the shift would be the other way, and a little easier to bunt it down the third base line when they're in this defense.
Here's the 1-2. Deep to right field. It is on its way, and it is gone. A home run. Cody Bellinger's 13th home run of the year, and the Dodgers take a 3-0 lead. His home runs sound different.
It's early. It's the first inning. Dodgers up by 3, but this will be the Arco top-tier play because he hit it a mile. Breaking ball down. Fastball he swung through. Breaking ball. He's right on time there, low and in. One of the sweet spots for most left-handed power hitters. And Cody is no different than most.
Down and out in Beverly Hills. Yasmani Grandal swings and misses, and it's 0-1.
Glad he was trying to bunt earlier, but got that out of the way.
Grandal at 265. And it's 0-2.
2 out, nobody on to bunt is something that Cody, the veterans, will talk to him about. Turner Ward will, Dave Roberts. That's your time to go ahead and swing free.
Grandal takes high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Their mentoring will be a little deeper and more effective now that next swing he hits a home run.
Grandal into right field. There's Kivlahan in to make the catch, and the inning is over. Dodgers 3 runs and 3 hits. Bellinger with his 13th. Cody Bellinger's long drive down the right field line, his 13th home run of the season, and the Dodgers lead it 3-0 as we go to the top half of the second. Asher Wojciechowski in his Hollywood debut lays an egg in the first. Here's Suarez at .279, 10 home runs, 36 runs batted in. Alex Wood has now thrown 10 pitches, 8 of them 4 strikes. And a 3-0 lead to work with. He's at 26 and a third consecutive shutout innings. Suarez 0 and 2. Scott Schebler on deck, and Devin Mesoraco will follow. Here's the 0-2. High. Mostly fastball so far.
Fastballs. We saw a couple breaking balls down into righties, and he got a ground out on his first changeup to Peraza, the leadoff hitter.
Inside, check swing, and it's 2-2 to Eugenio Suarez. He's had a solid first third of the year. Inside, now 3-2. The Reds, a couple of games under 500, began the day 3 behind first place Milwaukee. Now the 3-2 just before Wood is ready to throw. Suarez steps out of the batter's box. Grounded to short. Should be an easy play for Seager. Now let's check out the Land Rover performance spotlight. Well, nobody had a better month of May than the National League's pitcher of the month, Alex Wood.
He was absolutely fantastic, and really a rotation that needed somebody to step up there with Clayton Kershaw, and he did that. Everyone else was kind of struggling to find their way. Brandon McCarthy was also outstanding, but with Ryu's ups and downs and Hill's ups and downs and Maeda's ups and downs, Alex Wood really shined in May.
Well, we have a loose beach ball out by the Dodger bullpen, but not anymore. Schebler with 17 home runs is tied with his teammate Joey Votto. Mark Reynolds hit his 17th home run of the year for the Rockies, who just keep winning.
Really an emergency sign for the Rockies, and he might end up being an all-star.
And Schebler having a breakout year. Will Grandal have room? And he just runs out.
Just grazed the screen, as Monty was back there in case it didn't graze the screen.
Ball, a strike, in and out. Top of the second, the Dodgers the 3-0 lead. Dodgers this year, when scoring first, are 25-7. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Scott Schebler. Took the collar in 4 at-bats last night. So Wood, to this point, picking up where he left off 13 days ago. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Second strikeout for Wood. He's retired 5 in a row. 2 out, nobody on in the top of the second.
Ball has not left the infield, either ground outs or strikeouts, and all of them with very good location.
And economical to boot. 19 pitches. Here's Mesoraco stepping in. 3 home runs, 4 runs batted in. Tucker Barnhart has done most of the catching this year, so Mesoraco giving him the night off. Scooter Gennett is on deck. Now it's no balls and 2 strikes. Since 2012, the last 5 years plus, the Dodgers are 23-12 against the Cincinnati Reds. And if you want to go back to 1890, and why would you want to? But the Dodgers are 1,066 to the Reds 1,016. Oh, you had the Red Stockings, the Bridegrooms, the Superbas, the Robins, the Trolley Dodgers, the Dodgers, Red Stockings, Red Legs, and now simply the Reds. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Wood is back. That's 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. It's as if he's never left. Now he's got 27 and a 3rd consecutive scoreless inning. #1 mobile app for live Dodger baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Dodger home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Bottom third of the Dodger lineup here in the bottom half of the second with a 3-0 lead. And Forsythe takes a strike, 0-1. Logan's at a $1.96. He's had a rough go since coming off the disabled list, first with the busted toe, and then he re-aggravated the hamstring. And a base hit into center field to begin the second. Talking with Dave Roberts a bit this afternoon. He said, we got to get Forsythe hot.
Well, you hit with your lower half, and when he has hamstring and feet problem, that is tough. A lot of his swings now have been defaulting to his upper body, and he's really got to rebuild that foundation below the waist.
So he's 2 for 14 on the homestand as Puig steps in. Of course, it was June 3rd. 4 years ago that Puig made his monumental debut at Dodger Stadium. A couple of hits and that unforgettable throw from the base of the scoreboard, a double play at first base and the game.
The beginning of his career, the beginning of Fernando's career. Some really exciting times.
Puig with 9 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Forsythe a short lead. Wojciechowski popped up and out of play. Puig is a career .287 hitter. But in 2013, when he arrived with 19 home runs, 42 RBIs, a .319 average in 104 games. A ball and 2 strikes. Alex Wood is on deck. And Asher Wojciechowski already down 3-0. On 1 and 2. Backhanded at third. Nice play at third. Second, not in time at first. Suarez, terrific play. Good throw. Peraza did all he could on the pivot, but Puig too fast. Wood not much of a hitter. Has a couple of RBIs. 17 at-bats, and he's been struck out 12 times. We would think he's going to try and bunt, if for no other reason, to stay out of a double play. 1 ball, no strikes to Alex Wood. That's Chris Woodward. Woody to Woody. Utley on deck.
I was talking with Tommy Lasorda and Joe Torre during the Old Timers game about pitchers fielding their position, getting bunts down, controlling the running game, and how that could be worth 2-3 victories a year for them on the mound.
There goes Puig in a hit and run.
Being able to handle the bat like this with Alex Wood. Stay out of the double play. Maybe produce a run on your own by being able to just butcher boy the bat right there and take care of the small things in the game.
Well, with a 3-0 lead against a young, already well-traveled pitcher. Get him on the heels all the more in the second inning. Why not? Now Wood squares to bunt, and it's a foul ball. 1 and 2. Votto gave it all he could get and came up short. Asher Wojciechowski has been a traveling man in the past year. Picked up by the Marlins off waivers May 24th last year. November granted free agency. Now the 1-2 to Wood. And he punts it. Wojciechowski will throw to first. In December, Wojciechowski signed as a free agent with the Diamondbacks, and he would be released by Arizona at the end of spring training.
26.
The Reds then picked him up on April the 21st, and this is his 5th appearance and his 3rd start. So for Wood, his 2nd sacrifice. And Utley, who singled to right to begin the game, steps in. So Chase, after that miserable start, hitting .316 in his last 26 games. Takes a strike, 0-1. On May the 9th, Chase Utley was hitting .098. but he has 25 hits in his last 79 at-bats. Puig leads from second, and Utley pops it up. Peraza underneath it. And that's going to do it. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We'll go to the third. Jeanette, Kevlahan, and Wojciechowski coming up. Streak of 27 and a third innings into the top half of the third, and he'll be facing Scooter Gennett, who made some history. That was on Monday. 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 17 total bases. Takes a strike, 0-1. So Jeanette, 7 home runs, 31 runs batted in. You take away Tuesday when he hit the 4 home runs and knocked in 10. On the year, he would have 3 home runs and 21 runs batted in. So on one day, he was essentially the player of the week. Meanwhile, Wood, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jeanette. An impressive list of those who have hit 4 home runs in a game. Mays, Schmidt, Adcock, Colavito, Gehrig, Scooter Gennett. Chuck Klein, Hall of Famer. The hard-hitting, never-quitting Mark Whitten. Joe Adcock in 54 for the Braves. Into right. Puig going back. Scooter Gennett narrowly misses the home run. And now, did he overrun second base? No. Scooter Gennett misses a home run by, looks like less than a foot.
Right fielder number 3, Patrick Kivlahan.
A lot of left-handed hitters are good low ball hitters. Scooter Gennett seems like he has a nice level swing at the top of the strike zone. And Yasiel Puig makes it close with his rocket arm. We've seen a lot of those overruns this year as we ask for replay, and you wonder why they're asking for replay, because at the beginning it looks like they're really safe, but then all of a sudden you see a foot pop up or the knee come off and the tag still applied, but not in that case.
So Jeanette with the leadoff double, first hit given up by Alex Wood. No balls and a strike to Kevlahan. And there is Jeanette. The pitcher Wojciechowski is on deck. Dodgers 3-0 here in the third. Broken bat, ground ball to third base. Forsythe freezes the runner. Jeanette has to retreat. Kevlahan is retired, first out of the third.
Pitcher number 65, Asher Wojciechowski.
Kevlahan, nothing good came out of that at bat. Breaks his bat and can't get the runner over. Wojciechowski, what do you know about his hitting? Well, he's been to the bat 3 times. He's been struck out twice. We'll all find out together. Played collegiately at the Citadel. Takes a strike, 0-1. Dodgers and Reds will be facing one another next weekend in Cincinnati. And the 0-1 is outside. And while the Dodgers are in town next Saturday, a statue of Pete Rose will be unveiled outside the Great American Ballpark. Ball, a strike, in and out. Tied him up like a corkscrew.
Good breaking ball down and in. Alex has been looking for the range on that pitch, and no better time than when the pitcher's up there to maybe make some adjustments with it.
Well, Wood has struck out 3 already on the season. 63 strikeouts. Only 15 walks. Opponents are hitting 189 against him. Wood, his first start, missing 13 games, and Wojciechowski down on strikes. That's 4 strikeouts for Alex Wood, and there's 2 out. Enjoy all the sizzling summer action at Dodger Stadium. Purchase a Dodger Summer 6-pack and choose your favorite giveaway nights, preferred days of the week, and great matchups. Plus, you'll get a cool t-shirt with your purchase. Visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans. With 2 out, here's Peraza, who bounced to first in his first at-bat. One ball, no strikes. Peraza's got a couple of home runs, 18 runs batted in. Had a very brief tour of duty with the Dodgers. And it was from Los Angeles to Cincinnati he went. Zach Cozart is on deck. Peraza's hitting over 280 in the past 6 weeks. Off to a very slow start, but he's been heating up. There's a strike. 1-1. Brewers and Diamondbacks scoreless in the third in Phoenix. Cincinnati trails Milwaukee by 3. Up the middle, into center field for a base hit. And the scoreless streak for Alex Wood has come to an end. At 28 innings.
He's been very hot, and 1 run is not going to change his year. Alex Wood has been outstanding. Just a base hit up the middle, beats the defense. And with 2 outs, usually runners score very easily from second base because they're off at the crack of the bat.
Peraza's 19th RBI. Cozart took a call, 3rd strike in his first at bat. Dodger lead 3-1 now. Cozart's been on base by hit or walk 31 consecutive games. At .340 average, second best in the National League. Votto on deck. Wood has a very good move to third or to first. That's Forsythe. That was a tough play with the ball hugging the line, and was it going to hit the bag or not? It didn't. Thursday night on an all-new episode of Backstage Dodgers, Justin Turner is mic'd up from the Dodger dugout during the Dodger National Series just completed. Plus, Alex Wood trains his new puppy with the help of celebrity dog trainer Joel Silverman. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Hankook Tires, Thursday night after the postgame right here on Sportsnet LA. Seager leading it off. It takes a strike, 0-1. Corey has doubled, driven in a run, and scored in his first at-bat. Up and in, and it's 1-1. Seager, Taylor, and Adrian Gonzalez will hit here in the bottom of the third. And it's 2-1. There's a lot of space between Scooter Gennett in left field and Scott Schebler in center. And Seager can hit well the other way. 2-2. Seager knocking in his 26th run of the season in the first inning. Taylor on deck. A gentle breeze from left to right. A perfect 69 degrees on this Saturday night at Dodger Stadium. Lined into left field, and it's caught by Scooter Gennett.
Number 3, Chris Taylor.
Whenever we've seen Gennett in the past in Milwaukee, he was primarily a second baseman. And so left field, he appears to be a work in progress.
A little rougher than the guy at the plate who has had to play multiple positions and got thrown into center field, but adapted very well. Chris Taylor,
who flied to center field in his first at bat. 3-1 Dodgers, 1 out of the bottom of the third. When the music stopped at the end of spring training, Chris Taylor was without the chair. He was the last man standing. He'd be sent down to Oklahoma City. He had a great spring. He was terrific in Oklahoma City. And he brought his act back to the major leagues, and he's just been terrific. Adrian Gonzalez on deck. For Taylor, his 47th game. And for the Dodgers, this is their 63rd.
last year was a little harder sell for Dave Roberts to tell the players that don't worry when you go down. There's going to be a lot of roster moves. We're going to need all 40 guys. And the Dodgers with all their moves last year. Now when Dave told people that in spring training, everybody could really believe him.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Taylor will see another at bat, or at least another pitch. Chris, 7 home runs and 24 runs batted in.
Batting third tonight. Dave Roberts giving Justin Turner a day off after playing his first game back off the DL yesterday. I'm sure Justin will be in there again tomorrow, the day game.
Well, in the case of Turner coming off the hamstring, they simply don't want to throw him into the deep end of the pool. So he'll play a game, rest a game, certainly a day game after night game in the foreseeable future is not in the cards. So tonight was as good a night as any to give Turner the night off after his first game back.
And if the game stays close, I'm sure he won't have the complete night off. He'll be one of the primary hitters with runners in scoring position, as he has been very good at that in his career.
Up the third baseline, it rolls foul.
Justin Turner, with his average above 370 or so, he doesn't qualify for the batting title right now, but if you give him the 0 for 26, which would give him enough plate appearances, and you add that to his totals now, he would be hitting 320 as far as a qualifier, and would be around 9th in the league. He'd sandwich in between Bryce Harper and Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm guessing he'd prefer not to go for 26. He'll get back into the race in his own time. Wojciechowski, second out of the third. JT with a busman's holiday tonight, Alana.
Well, JT largely doesn't have to rush back because of the efforts of CT, Charlie. Earlier today, Dave Roberts was talking about the fact how Chris Taylor has really saved this ball club to be able to keep the guys that are a little bit banged up or on the disabled list where they need to be until they're 100% healthy. If you think about the fact Justin Turner goes on the DL on May 19th, Chris Taylor can play third base. Of course, Logan Forsythe on the DL as well, struggling a little bit with the bat. Chris Taylor can play second base. Jock Peterson with the concussion still on the disabled list, working on getting back in his rehab assignment. Of course, Chris Taylor can play center field. So Chris Taylor can be plugged into a lot of spots, and it also helps those guys that are working their way back.
JT, CT, and Agon with a fly ball into center field. Scott Schebler's there in a 1-2-3 inning. The Dodgers go quietly. And we'll go to the fourth. Dodgers up 3-1. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only. A third of the way through the game, Alex Wood, his first start in the month of June, missed a couple of starts with the SC joint, which is up near the clavicle. Somewhere right around the collarbone. It wasn't feeling too good. Were you pre-med? Well, neither was I. So up there near the collarbone, it was an issue for Wood. Votto bounced to second in his first at-bat and takes low 2-0. Votto, Suarez, and Schebler to hit in the fourth. With the shift on the right side. Breaking ball high, 3-0.
That ball was not high for me, and I'll bet you PitchCast has it as strike. I know the umpire called the ball, but wow, it was right there.
Well, Jerry Davis, among the best umpires of them all. Jerry, in his 34th big league season, has worked the most postseason games of any umpire. 133 post-game assignments or postseason assignments. And Votto on 3-1, 3-2. So when you've worked that many postseason games, you give the guy a little bit of latitude.
Even the best can miss him, Charlie, and he did.
Votto on 3-2. That's how you beat the shift. Joey Votto now 1 for 2, a 300 hitter this year.
Number 7, Eugenio Suarez.
It's borderline high. Votto just kind of puts an emergency swing on it. Very much does beat the shift, waiting as long as he can to determine if he wants to swing or not, and that's pretty good strategy when most of the fielders are around to the right.
Votto in his career hitting .313. So a leadoff hit for the Reds in the fourth. Dodgers leading it 3-1. Suarez bounced to short in his first at bat. Slowly hit. There's one. And Utley fakes the throw. So Suarez takes Votto's place at first with one gone.
43, Scott Scheffler.
And they're going to put the shift on the right side of the infield for Scheffler. Devin Mesoraco on deck. They go to the fourth in Arizona. The Brewers and Diamondbacks are scoreless. Rockies won again. Now Scheffler squares to bunt. Takes it back, 1 ball, no strikes. So on the shift, you got Seager about halfway between second base and third. So Scheffler was tempted to bunt on the first pitch, but fouls this one back. It's 1-1.
This Reds team looks at a 3-1 deficit and they don't worry about it offensively. They just worry about their starting pitchers because they know they can score runs.
Fifth in the league in batting average, runs, hits, and second in the league in home runs. And Scheffler's got 17 of them. High chopper. Wood spins, throws, and dug out by Adrian Gonzalez.
Number 39, Devin Mesoraco.
Adrian has rescued many an infielder, and here rescues Alex Wood. Does a nice job getting off the mound, spinning and turning, but just kind of stabs at the throw a little bit. But Adrian not assuming anything, ready for that one that was low.
So with 2 out, Mesoraco stepping in. He struck out in his first at bat. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers, a run and 3 hits for the Reds, as Suarez leads from second base. Mesoraco from Puxatawney, Pennsylvania.
And am I incorrect at thinking that is the Groundhog Day?
Every day is Groundhog Day in Puxatawney. First round pick in 2007. Made his major league debut in 2011. No balls and a strike. What do they do in Puxatawney the remaining 364 days?
Gear up.
They wear top hats.
It's quite a day.
No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Wood delivers. Scooter Gennett is on deck. 0-2. We'll do it again. Dodgers and Reds will wrap up the series tomorrow. First pitch at Dodger Stadium tomorrow at 1:10. Tim Adelman goes for the Reds, and Hyun-Jin Ryu will be going for the Dodgers. Monday, an off day, a travel day, as the Dodgers head to Cleveland. Popped foul. When the Dodgers play the Indians, they will finally play an American League team. The Dodgers are the only team in the majors that has not yet played an interleague game. So Messrs. Roberts and Guerin will get that Dodger club ready. Kershaw likely to go Tuesday, McCarthy Wednesday, and Hill on Thursday. And a pop-up into short left field. Seager going out, and in comes Bellinger, and that's going to do it. No runs and one base hit. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. Dodgers 3-1. And now it's time for the Unlimited Baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. At this pace, the Rockies will never, ever lose again. 7 straight, routing the Cubs. The Cubs fall under 500. Twins edge the Giants, still having all sorts of issues, as are the Padres. The Royals routed San Diego down south. And the Brewers have a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the fourth in Arizona. So up to the minute, the Dodgers are 3 behind Colorado. Arizona trailing the Dodgers by a half a game. Bellinger homered in his first at-bat. A line shot down the right field line, his 13th home run of the year. So Wojciechowski had all sorts of problems in the first. Things eased up in the second, and then a 1-2-3 third inning. Shift on the right side of the infield for Bellinger, and back in the first.
Got an off-speed pitch, low and in, and just golfed it right out of here.
So for Bellinger now, 13 home runs and 32 runs batted in. And it's 2-2. Line to the left and foul.
Cody's next step as a hitter is going to be more contact, and especially with balls in the strike zone. Still, he and Turner Ward know that he swings a little too hard and misses a lot of pitches that are very hittable. That was a little better right there. Following that pitch off, we've seen him collapse a little bit on the backside and swing under that ball.
In 154 at-bats, Bellinger has been struck out 57 times. More than a third. The 2-2. Pop foul. Beneath us and to our left.
He'd like to cut that strikeout total in half. Because when he puts the ball in play, it has plenty of power, and you don't have to hit it 420 feet. You can hit it 380 and still get the same credit.
Drilled to right, but foul. Whew. Mentioned on that home run in the first inning. Balls off his bat sound different.
It's a sharper contact. It is. It's a different, crisper sound.
Wojciechowski breathing a sigh of relief. 2-2. To second base. And that's Peraza throwing him out. First out of the fourth.
Number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
Now Grandal stepping in. Yasmani flied to right in his first at bat. Grandal 6 home runs and 25 runs batted in. Grandal had the night off last night. Way out in front, and it's 0-1. One gone, bottom of the fourth. Forsythe on deck. Now the 1-1 on the way. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Inside and low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Joe Torre's at the ballpark tonight. Boy, he's got good seats. He must know somebody. Second row right behind the plate. His lovely wife Allie right next to him. That's Grandal. To the left side. Suarez. Second out of the inning. There's Joe. Manager of one of the 2 old-timers teams.
Number 11,
The winning team today, the gray team. The average age on the gray team seemed to be about 45. The average team on the white team that I happen to play for seemed to be about 65.
So the gray team was uniform color, not hair color.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
The white team's hair was white.
2 out. Forsythe takes a strike. 0-1. Oh, it's great to see Tommy here, who's the other honorary manager.
Yeah. Josh Beckett waved over Kevin Gross and Fernando Valenzuela and said, "Hey guys, come over here. Orioles, stay back. This is for guys who have no hitters." This picture.
Nice.
He's great. He's playing a lot of golf. It was great to see him.
Josh is a piece of work.
He's great. Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
Outside and low.
Pretty good golfer now too. He's almost a scratch, I think.
Well, he's got plenty of spare time on his hands.
That might ruin some of his games back home, so now he's going to have to be given strokes.
He just did that to hitters. Two balls and two strikes to Logan Forsythe, who singled into center field in his first at bat. And Puig on deck. Wojciechowski's kind of settled in. And the 2-2. Call strike three, outside corner. His first strikeout of the game. Forsythe not in agreement with Jerry Davis. And after 34 years behind the plate, you think Davis cares much? All on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Get the Toyota truck of your dreams at Toyota's Summer Drive Sales Event. As we head to the fifth, the Dodgers leading the Reds 3-1. And the bottom third of the Cincinnati order coming up, beginning with Scooter Gennett, who of course hit the 4 home runs on Tuesday and narrowly missed one here tonight. Doubled off the wall in right. Gennett takes a strike, and it's 0-1. "17 players in Major League history have hit 4 home runs in a game." Beneath us, and it's 0-2. Sean Green, of course, did it in 2002. Gil Hodges in 1950. And Gennett was born just outside Cincinnati. And moved down to Sarasota when he was 9. For Alex Wood, that's his 5th strikeout of the game, and that's the first out of the 5th.
He is so locked in. 59 pitches, 42 for strikes. He is just pounding the strike zone, and they are only being able to come up with pretty much weak contact. That is quite a ball strike ratio.
Patrick Kevelan bounced to third in his first at bat. 2-0. Two balls and one strike. Of the 17 who have hit the 4 home runs in a game, it's an interesting collection of players. The all-time greats, the near greats, and who are these guys? That's a strike, and it's 2-2. Mays, Schmidt, Garrett, Josh Hamilton, Joe Adcock, Mike Cameron. The 2-2. Just inside, 3-2. Ed Delahanty in 1896 hit 4 home runs in a game. Those days, that's pretty much when the ball stopped rolling. Chuck Klein, Josh Hamilton. The career that might have been. Carlos Delgado. Three balls, 2 strikes. Lined into center field for a base hit. A 1-out single for the rookie Patrick Kivilan.
When you look at that list, who would be more surprising than Scooter?
Number 65, Asher Wojciechowski.
Rocky Colavito in 59. Rocco Domenico Colavito. Played with the Indians and the Tigers, and he was part of one of the more controversial trades of all time. You trade a home run hitter for a batting champion. Tigers and the Indians, Colavito for Harvey Keene. No balls and a strike to Asher Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski has been to bat this year 4 times. He's been struck out 3 times. Dodgers all 3 of their runs in the first. An Utley single, a Seager double, and a home run for Bellinger and a sac fly for Gonzalez. Wojciechowski went around, and it's 0-2. With Gonzalez crashing in from first, Utley sprinted towards second. Dodgers had an eye on perhaps picking off Kevilan there at first. No balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Gonzalez putting his soccer footwork to good use. That turns out to be a strikeout for Kevilan. And the 6th strikeout for Wood. There's 2 gone. From Ebbets Field to Dodger Stadium, the history of the boys in blue timeless. Show your historical pride with a Brooklyn cap Monday, June 19th, when the Dodgers host the New York Mets. Courtesy of Bank of America, and available to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. The Dodger blue is, of course, part of the Met blue. The Mets have a blue and orange color scheme. The New York Giants orange, the Brooklyn Dodger blue. And now Peraza. Backhanded by Forsythe. Drops it, picks it up, throws him out anyway. No runs, 1 hit. Talk about the hot corner. Forsythe turning the hot corner cool. At the halfway mark, the Dodgers 3 runs and 4 hits. Cincinnati 1 run and 4 hits. In the bottom half of the 5th, it'll be Puig and Wood and Chase Utley. Wood not yet arriving in the on-deck circle. All quiet in the Dodger bullpen. Wood has thrown 70 pitches through 5. He has struck out 6, hasn't walked anybody. And if there were any questions or concerns about rust coming off the DL, well, no questions. Puig takes high. 2 balls and no strikes. Yasiel bounced out in his first at bat. Line drive base hit. That was smoked. And that's going to roll to the wall as Puig arrives at second base with a leadoff stand-up double in the bottom of the 5th.
He and Turner continue to work really hard. And when he hits the ball to the left side, it's in the air. It's not a rollover. Did a nice job right there with that swing. And you can't hit it much harder. And if he elevates it at all, it's a line drive home run. Yasiel Puig has been comfortably down there in the 8th hole. Coming into today's game, 31 RBIs, was tied for the team lead.
Now Alex Wood gets it down, and a good job. That gets Puig to 3rd for Wood, his 2nd sacrifice of the game and his 3rd of the season.
That's a really nice job. Alex Wood in his first at bat had 2 strikes, and with a 2-strike bunt, he went directly back to the pitcher, so he didn't foul it off. Well, this one needs to be a little bit more directional earlier in the count. Try and force it down to the 3rd baseman just far enough to make sure he gets him over. Even though the catcher fields the ball, it was a well-executed bunt.
And that forces Brian Price's hand to bring the infield in for Chase Utley. Utley 1 for 2. Infield in. Outfield relatively shallow. As Utley with a fly ball to right. That may have been too shallow. Off the wall. Utley arrives at second base. In to score is Puig, and the Dodgers lead 4-1. Well, they played him in and hit it over his head.
So we're going to take a look at our Carl's Cam replay. Chase hit with 2 out and Puig on second, and his last at bat, well, here he has Puig at third. Has to do a little less, but does a little more in driving this ball to the right field warning track.
For Utley, his 16th run batted in. Seager in a short left center field. Schebler is there. Utley forces the issue and then retreats to second base.
Center fielder Chris Taylor.
Well, you look at the Reds outfield. Scooter Gennett, by and large, is an infielder. Scott Schebler, never saw him play center when he was with the Dodgers. And Kivlahan in right is a rookie. Now here's Chris Taylor, 0 for 2. Dodgers 4-1. RBIs tonight for Utley, Seager, Gonzalez, and the Bellinger home run. That was back in the first. That is Austin Bryce beginning to work in the Red bullpen. Taylor 250 with runners in scoring position. 306 overall. And it's 0-2. Adrian Gonzalez on deck. That's Wood. You know, the clavicle was his issue. It's interesting. He's just trying to keep that loose. Very similar calisthenics that Kenta Maeda uses between innings. One ball and 2 strikes. Taylor 7 home runs, 2 of the 7 grand slams. Line on 1 hop, bobbled at shortstop by Kozar. That extends the inning. For the Reds, their 29th error of the year. Second best defense in the league.
Pretty much a routine 1 hopper that handcuffs him. Once it gets on his thigh and rolls down, he has no chance.
Runners at the corners, 2 out. Adrian Gonzalez, a sac fly. And he's also flied out. Riding a modest 5-game hitting streak, 6 hits in the 5 games. Shift on the right side of the infield. Gonzalez lays off.
Little different approach right here for Adrian. First and third. He's got the left side of the infield open. If he decides to block a ground ball where the shortstop normally plays, he can pick up a 2-out RBI. Or he can decide to beat the shift with a line drive.
1 ball, no strikes. 1-1. Gonzalez 292 with runners in scoring position this year. Hopped it up. That's Cozart. And that's that. But the Dodgers come up with a run, 2 hits, leave 2. We go to the 6th. Dodgers 4-1. Chase Utley with an RBI double in the bottom of the 5th. Zach Cozart leading it off for Reds. And Alex Wood misses just outside. 1 ball and no strikes. For Wood, he's by and large been in cruise control. A run and 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. After missing a couple of starts with the clavicle issue, the SC joint. Whatever it is, at least we know where it is. Down the road from UCLA, but that's not important. What is that Wood is cruising right along.
Yeah, he hasn't missed a beat, and he's not really thinking that, oh, this is going so well, I won't get frustrated with pitches I miss with. He gets a scowl on his face when he misses his spot.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
He expects perfection tonight. He's raised the bar for himself very high, and he's jumping over it.
Cozart tonight is 0 for 2, and the 2-2. For Alex Wood, this is his 86th career start. Just got a piece of it, and Cozart will get to see another pitch. So Wood enjoying to this point a career year. Lifetime 1-loss record, 33-30, a 3.21 ERA. And at the moment, he is in search of his 7th win as Cozart gets hit by a pitch.
Of course, this is not on purpose. Alex Wood discussed it with himself that he missed by that much. He has had that fastball up and into righties lasered into their hands right there where he can jam them. That one he just pulled.
Well, if you're going to get hit, it might as well be on the bicep. It'll leave a mark. And here's Joey Votto. Wood's ERA at the moment is 1.70. His career ERA 3.21. So Wood is enjoying to this point a career year, and Votto's been down this road so many times before. Only 14 National League hitters are at 300 or better, and as you might imagine, Votto's a member of the club. Justin Turner and Chris Taylor, if they had sufficient number of at-bats, they'd be in that exclusive company too. Josh Fields and Grant Dayton are warming in the Dodger bullpen. Not to be outdone, the Reds have lefty Wandy Peralta in their bullpen. Chris Taylor heading back to the wall. What a catch! Chris Taylor, a spectacular play. Taking away extra bases. A perfectly timed leap. Chris Taylor.
Morongo Casino slow-mo cam captures Chris Taylor crashing into the wall and making a double-saving catch. Pure athleticism, not really the most adept center fielder, but capturing that ball uses all of his eye-hand coordination, not backing down from the padding, and making a beautiful play. Was challenged like that with the second pitch that he ever played Major League center field, crashed into the center field wall behind him here at Dodger Stadium and made a play like that.
Something to be said for padded walls. Eugenio Suarez swings and misses, and it's 0-1. The irony in all of this is that the reason that the Dodgers opted to stay with Kike Hernandez as the 25th man on the roster when the Dodgers broke camp back at the end of March was that they felt that Kike Hernandez was a better center fielder, and that Taylor would go down to AAA and kind of work on that. But by and large, they envisioned him as a conventional utility player, second base, a little bit of shortstop, third base. And then when Jock Peterson went down, out of necessity, they put Taylor into center field. And he's been terrific. His offensive numbers, of course, speak for themselves, with 2 grand slams this year. Came from Seattle for Zach Lee. Two balls and a strike. Suarez is 0 for 2. In the hole into left field for a base hit. Cozart will hold at second. First and second, 1 out.
Center fielder Scott Schebler.
And Schebler coming up. So Wood is at 84 pitches. And it's looking like that might have been the last pitch. I think Dave Roberts wants to go out and look into Wood's eyes and say, well, I think you still got it. That's exactly what he wanted to see and exactly what he wanted to hear.
He didn't even get to ask the question. Alex greeted him as Dave hit the dirt of the pitcher's mound with the statement that I'm okay, I got this guy. And you know what? When Dave goes out there to ask, he knows Alex is the best man for the job. He just wants to make sure that he's got the energy to do it.
2 on, 1 out. And you got a lefty-lefty matchup in Wood and Schebler.
Alex with the better breaking ball compared to Grant Dayton.
Shift on. Swing and a miss. 0-1.
You got 3-pitch selection with Alex Wood still in the game compared to Grant Dayton, who's going to be more fastball breaking ball, with his high fastball being his premium pitch. So Dave Roberts wanted a breaking ball on the mound. That's why he was checking with Alex to see how he felt.
Schebler's a .320 hitter against left-handed pitching. Nearly threw it away. So Seager saves Woods vacant.
Alex needs to take a couple infielders to dinner. Corey Seager for that play there, and Adrian Gonzalez when he fielded a ball along first base and spiked the throw to Adrian and picked him up.
Well, he'll have ample time on a 6-game road trip. First stop Cleveland, and next weekend in Cincinnati. Schebler. No balls, 2 strikes. Devin Mesoraco is on deck. Mesoraco has been by and large Tucker Barnhart's understudy this year. Meanwhile, the performance of Wood, you never know quite what you're going to get when somebody comes off the DL. Strikes out Schebler. 7 strikeouts for Alex Wood. Well, this time Dave Roberts coming out of the dugout, no questions asked.
Alex Wood can't talk himself out of this one. 2 visits and you're gone, and that's an outstanding job by number 57.
So Alex Wood getting a long and loud standing ovation as he heads back to the Dodger dugout. 7 strikeouts, and he leaves with the lead.
Alex Wood, the Dodgers have 4 runs, but he got 7 strikeouts, topped out at 95 miles an hour. When you pitch ahead, you get people to swing at balls in the strike zone, but you also get them to chase a little bit because they're so used to you pounding in there. And Alex Wood had the range on the breaking ball, great change of speeds on that changeup, and boy, did he have his velocity and location tonight.
87 pitches, 61 for strikes. And here in the 6th inning, not as close as he's been to a jam. Here's Josh Fields, who's been busy getting Dodger starters out of jams. That's who's in, who's out, brought to you by In and Out. Fields has an ERA of 1.5, and opponents are hitting 190 against him. A foul back just over our head.
Charlie, when I see Josh Fields, I think of the other guy on the team that has been sent down to AAA with a 0 ERA. Josh Fields is the answer to that trivia question with now today Brandon Morrow.
Morrow in 6 innings gave up nothing but 2 hits, 7 strikeouts and a walk, and a ticket to Oklahoma City. Drilled deep to left center field. It's on its way and it is gone. Best laid plans of mice and men. Mesoraco, his 4th home run of the year, and it ties the score at 4.
The fielder, Scooter Jeanette.
Now this is a blow right here. High fastball doesn't get quite up there. Looks like Mesoraco is kind of looking for a ball up there. Comes out of his crouch, stands tall, and hits it a long way.
Close the book on Wood. 3 runs and 5 hits. Now Fields has to regroup. And a fly ball to deep right center field. Taylor at the wall makes the catch. And Josh Fields can exhale. But he gives up the 3-run home run to Mesoraco. We're tied at 4 after 5.5.
Fans, it is time for the Tax Show presented by New Era. I am joined here by Matt.
Is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the baby back rib burger only at Carl's Jr. You're looking at Wandy Peralta in his 27th appearance. Remember, the Cincinnati Reds, their starters aren't very good. Frankly, their team ERA on the rotation at 5.85 is last in the league. But Brian Price's bullpen has a collective ERA of 3.5 and holding opponents to a 2.24 batting average. Alex Wood, a terrific performance tonight. He can't win it, he can't lose it. 3 runs and 5 hits in 5 2/3, and there's Josh Fields getting some encouragement from Rick Honeycutt. So we've got a new game, and Cody Bellinger stepping in. Bellinger a home run in the first inning, and he has bounced to second. One-run games this year. The Dodgers are 6-9. The Reds are 5-8. Wojciechowski did the best that he could do. 4 runs, 6 hits in 5 innings. Peralta's first pitch is down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. So Bellinger with his 13th home run of the year has 32 runs batted in, and he swings and misses. It's 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wandy Peralta out of the Dominican Republic. Made 10 appearances last year. Signed with the Reds in 2009 as a non-drafted free agent. In other words, he was discovered.
It's a big arm, 98, 99 miles an hour he can top out at. And if you're a left-handed hitter like Cody Bellinger, you're going to see predominantly sliders. Almost 60% of his pitches to left-handers are his slider.
.97, and Bellinger just does get a piece of it.
Dave Roberts has not shied away from putting Cody up there against lefties. Has done quite well, really, against left-handers.
So the next pitch in this at-bat will be the 8th to Cody Bellinger. He's actually hitting better against left-handed pitching than he is against righties. Works the count full. Bellinger against left-handed pitching, 278. Against righties, 231. To the right side. Nice room service hop for Peraza. Now it's time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. It's going to be up to the offense tonight for the Dodgers in this 4-4 tie. Over the course of the year, in games that they've won, they've averaged about 6.5 runs per game. Barely 2 runs per game in losses. Fascinating. The number of home runs the Dodgers have hit in winning affairs and the number of stolen bases when they've won.
One game they had 7 stolen bases in a game. They're one off. I think the record was 8 for the Dodger franchise in LA.
Randall, 1 ball and 1 strike. With 7 stolen bases a week ago tonight in Milwaukee, which was the night after Dodger pitching struck out 26 Brewer hitters. One ball, 1 strike. Randall takes it in the dirt, and it's 2-1. Randall hitting 167 against left-handed pitching, and his average just went down a bit. 2 gone. And now Logan Forsythe coming up. Forsythe, on the other hand, while he's hitting just 202, and he's been on a mile of rough road lately. He's won for his last 13 coming in. He's 1 for 2 tonight, but hitting .379 against left-handed pitching. And takes a strike. It's 0-1. One of the reasons why Forsythe was so attractive to the Dodgers in the trade with Tampa. Jose De Leon went from here to there. A real problem for the Dodgers last year was their inability to hit left-handed pitching. At the end of the year, they hit just .214. This year, they're up to .243. And Turner Ward has been working hard. Two gone in the bottom of the 6th. Pedro Baez getting loose. Forsythe, slow roller to short. Cozart picks it up and throws out Forsythe. A 1-2-3 inning for Wandy Peralta. We go to the 7th. Reds and Dodgers remain tied at 4. In the summer. Saturday night, June 24th, the Rockies are in town. Could well be a battle for first place, and the first 40,000 fans in attendance will take home a Dodgers beach towel courtesy of AM/PM. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Billy Hamilton is in the on-deck circle, but it's Patrick Keplahan who's leading it off for the Reds against Josh Fields in this 4-4 tie in the 7th. Fields misses outside, 1 ball and no strikes. We got Kivlahan, Hamilton, and the top of the order, Jose Peraza. Rockies won again today, 7 straight. Cubs fall a game under 500. You look at the standings, 5 teams in the National League are over 500. 10 teams are under 500. And the Dodgers at 37-25. And Justin Turner. You know, when Turner was out, Dodgers won 12 of 19, but as a team, they hit .209. So having JT back, and they're not going to rush him back to play every single day. It's certainly available to pinch hit tonight if need be. So having him in the lineup, as they say, lengthens the lineup. So you got Colorado at 41-23, 18 over 500. Dodgers at the moment 37-25. Diamondbacks after 6 have a 3-2 lead at home against Milwaukee, and they're at 37-26. The Brewers 4 over 500. The Cubs now a game under. You got Washington at 38-22, and everybody else under 500. Down on strikes, Keplahan, and that's the first out of the 7th. Armando Alcantara is going to pinch hit instead of Billy Hamilton.
Pinch hitter number 30, Arismendi Alcantara.
Michael Lorenzen is warming up in the Reds bullpen. So we're tied at 4 with 1 out, nobody on, top of the 7th. Alcantara is a switch hitter. That's a ball and a strike. So 3 of the 5 teams in the National League that are over 500 reside in the West. Too fast for Alcantara. It's 1-2.
Josh Fields now elevating that fastball up around the shoulders where he would have liked to Miseraco. And he gave up the home run that tied this game.
A 3-run shot in the last inning. Jose Peraza is on deck. The Dodgers in the bottom of the 7th will have Puig, a pinch hitter for Fields, and then Utley. Dodgers and Reds will wrap it up tomorrow. First pitch at 1:10. Him Adelman and Hyun-Jin Ryu. "73 years ago today, 6 weeks shy of his 16th birthday, Joe Nuxhall made his major league debut, the youngest person to play in a major league game this century. Actually, the last century when you think about it. Alcantara's done.
Second baseman, Jose Peraza.
Yasmani wants the ball up, at least waist high. Throws it right down the middle, and I like it when it's down the middle and you're going to go up the ladder. Got to give the hitter something to swing at. Go to the edges of the plate plus the height. A lot of times you just get it taken for a ball.
Peraza 1 for 3. It was 1944. It was the middle of World War II. Bunted in the air, foul back, 0-1 in Major League Baseball, looking for players. And Joe Nuxhall, not quite 16, who grew up in Cincinnati, would make his debut in the 9th inning. The Cardinals were beaten up on the Reds 13-0 at that point, so let's get the kid in. Well, the kid lasted more than 60 years in the Reds organization, one of the most popular players in Reds history. And on this day in 1944, Joe Nuxhall made his debut. Longtime broadcast partner with our friend Marty Brenneman. And Nuxie, as you might imagine, was quite the character. One and two. Dodgers and Reds are tied at 4. A solo home run for Bellinger in the first, a 3-run shot for Devin Mesoraco. In the bottom of the 6th, off Fields would tie the score. And now, 2 of the best bullpens in the game will have at it. And Bellinger will have at least one more at bat. One and two with 2 out. Peraza with a couple of home runs and 18 runs batted in. Peraza to the Reds along with Scott Schebler in a 3-player trade. Or 3-team trade. Dodgers would end up with Trace Thompson, Micah Johnson, and Frankie Montas. The White Sox end up with Todd Frazier. Dodger bullpen at work. And the Reds come away with Schebler, Peraza, and Brandon Dixon. Field strikes out the side. Nothing across. We have arrived at the 7th inning stretch. The Reds and Dodgers are tied at 4.
Morongo Casino in the first. The Dodgers got 3. This solo home run by Cody Bellinger. Chase Utley with this double score of Yasiel Puig in the 5th. But the game got all knotted up when Mazzaraco hit this 3-run bomb off of Josh Field, who had just relieved Alex Wood. And that's where we are now, 4-4, going into the bottom of the 7th with the Dodger bats looking to heat up.
A local product, Michael Lorenzen. Born in Anaheim, lives in Anaheim, graduated from Fullerton High School, and he pitched and played in the outfield at Cal State Fullerton in 2013. He had 19 saves. So the Dodgers trying to spoil his homecoming tonight. Yasiel Puig will lead it off. Kike Hernandez in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Fields. Then the top of the order, Utley. 4 runs, 6 hits for either team. Puig has doubled and scored a run. He swings and misses. It's 0-1. Yasiel, 9 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Off to the right, slicing out of play. 0-2 to Yasiel Puig. Puig at 235. Checked his swing and gets a reprieve from the governor.
Hard for the hitter. Jerry Davis asking for the appeal, and with 2 strikes, if he gets a strike call, Yasiel will be standing in the box. So hard combination of a check swing and a ball getting away.
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, like a balk and a check swing. Now 2-2. Yasiel, 9 home runs and 31 runs batted in. Now the 2-2. Into right. And a sliding catch made by Kenley. Boy, if that gets past him, you're looking at a triple. Instead, it's the first out of the 7th.
Good piece of hitting from Yasiel, driving this ball to right field. Good jump, ball curving away from him. Continues to run through the catch to have enough glove to get that one.
Now here's Kike Hernandez. You know, the Dodger pinch hitters this year have been terrific from the beginning of the season. As a group, they're hitting .288. Third highest pinch hitting average in the league. By way of comparison, the Reds, their pinch hitters are hitting .235. Let's see what Hernandez can do with 1 out. A comebacker. Actually intercepted on the way to the mound by Mesoraco. There's 2 out.
Second baseman, number 26, Chase Utley.
Page and Led Zeppelin leading the walk-up music for Chase Utley, who's 2 for 3 tonight. Utley at 241. 6 weeks ago, 241 was unimaginable. For the longest time, Chase was just hoping to get to the Mendoza line. Then he finally got to 100. That's Pedro Baez. He's warm and ready for the 8th. But Utley 2 for 3 tonight. And hitting well over 300 in his last 26 games. Seager's on deck. Lorenzen from Orange County delivers, and there's a liner to deep left center field. It is way back, and it's 1 hop off the wall and over the wall for a ground rule double. Utley tonight is 3 for 4 and a pair of 2 base hits.
He is really swinging the bat well. His last 20 plate appearances, now 21. He has not swung and missed. That's how hot he is. That's the longest active streak in the big leagues. So he's seeing it well, and he's got a really good swing right now.
And he is the lead run with 2 out. And Corey Seager stepping in. But not for long. The 4-finger salute. And the intentional walk.
Center fielder number 3, Chris Taylor.
Memo to Brian Price. Be careful for what you wish for. So Utley at second. Seager is at first. 2 on 2 out in the bottom of the 7th. Taylor 0 for 3. Little chopper up the first base line. So they intentionally walked Seager, and it pays off. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. Tied at 4 as we head to the 8th. Pedro Baez on his way in. Pedro Baez on in relief. And Baez this year, this is his 26th appearance with an ERA of just a skosh over 1. And opponents are hitting 152 against him. 29 strikeouts, the only blemish, those 13 walks in 26 innings.
He's always had a big arm. The secondary stuff is really coming along. The slider and the changeup this year. And of all the relievers in this game with the Reds and the Dodgers, he has the highest average fastball velocity, a tick over 97 miles an hour.
He'll be facing the middle of the Reds batting order. Cozart, Votto, and Suarez. Votto, one of the toughest outs in the game. And this year, Cozart, too. No balls and a strike. Started with a slider.
And we've seen that with Pedro Baez's usage this year. Sometimes it's the 6th, 7th, 8th. It's all about when is the heart of the order coming up. Dave Roberts likes him against the best hitters on the opposing team.
This should be the first out of the inning. Adrian Gonzalez.
First baseman number 19, Joey Votto.
Joey Votto stepping in, and Votto 1 for 3, robbed of an extra base hit back in the 6th inning on a spectacular play turned in by Chris Taylor, crashing into the wall in left center. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Reds, 4 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. One ball, no strikes to Joey Votto, who leads the National League, having been walked 44 times and a .420 on base percentage. Slider again. Change?
It was really good. When you make Joey Votto look that bad, he's having trouble recognizing that pitch, and he probably recognizes balls and strikes and where the ball's going to end up better than almost anybody in baseball. Should give Pedro a lot of confidence.
97, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Votto with his 17 home runs tied for the league lead with his teammate Schebler. Mark Reynolds hit his 17th for Colorado today. Zimmerman has 17. And now it's 3-1.
Count to Votto. You don't want to have umpire missing too many. This guy, those 17 home runs. Now he's in a real hitter's count.
Baez says, oh yeah.
Votto with a home run late off of Kenta Maeda to left center last night when the Dodgers beat him 7-2. That was the second tally for the Reds. That great play by Chris Taylor in that same spot where the ball cleared the wall last night.
3-2 to Votto, 1 out in the 8th. Into center field for a base hit. Puig quickly gets it back and holds Votto to a single. What a play by Yasiel Puig, throwing against his body, and it was a one-hop throw to second.
Hear this like Corey Seager going to the hole as a shortstop. Both Chris Taylor and he having to range over into the gap. Yasiel takes it on a backhand, gets rid of it quickly, and the accuracy was off the charts. Joey Votto, knowing the gun he normally works against, it was a lower caliber bullet, but it was a very accurate bullet.
Throwing across his body, getting the velocity that he did, and then the accuracy. There may be outfielders who do it as well as Puig, but none better. Suarez 1 for 3, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. That play kept Votto from getting into scoring position. Wise to get out of the way of that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Schebler is on deck. We're tied at 4 with 1 out, 1 on in the 8th inning. Broken bat, base hit into right. Votto, he's not going to test Puig's arm again. Meanwhile, they pick up the head of the bat halfway between third base and second. And that's why he's called a bat boy.
This ball is not hit well at all, and that bat just explodes. And if you want to know the value of an elite right fielder, you just take a look at what Yasiel Puig is doing right here in this inning. Holding Votto to a single and then holding Votto to only second base in a game where it's tied here in the 8th.
He's like a catcher with a great throwing arm. You dare not try to steal.
Shuts down the running game. He shuts down the extra base game.
43,439. Enjoying this one. 2 on, 1 out. 4-4 tie in the 8th. Good ball game, perfect weather. And Schebler, the former Dodger, facing a shift on the right side of the infield. The outfield is very deep. A 98-mile-an-hour fastball scraping the corner. It's 0-1. Devin Mesoraco, who tied the game with a home run back in the 6th, is on deck. Votto at second, Suarez at first with 1 out. And Schebler gets under it. That's Taylor in center. Votto doesn't even bother to leave second base. So there's 2 out. Figuring why force a throw.
Already in scoring position, tie game. 100% risk, 0 reward.
So 2 gone, and it's up to Mesoraco, who hit the 3-run home run off Josh Fields on in relief of Alex Wood in the 6th. It would tie the game, and that's where we are now. Mesoraco over the roof of the Dodger dugout, skims into the stands.
You don't want to throw this guy a average height fastball tonight. He looks like he is all over it with the home run he hit off Josh Fields and then turning on that fastball. If you're gonna go there, you better go a little bit higher. So he looks like he's handling it.
On 0-1. Got under it. Baez breathing a sigh of relief as Seager retreats. A step in fair territory, and the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We'll go to the bottom half of the 8th with Adrian Gonzalez, Bellinger, and Grandal coming up.
Hairston Jr. could care less because he's talking about his home run from the Old Timers game. I'm sure we'll hear about it on Access Sportsnet Dodgers coming up after the ball game, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers. A heck of a performance from Alex Wood. Hopefully this offense can get something going, guys.
Absolutely. Adrian Gonzalez, Cody Bellinger, and Yasmani Grandal in the bottom half of the 8th. Thanks, Alana. Gonzalez 0 for 2, a sac fly, has a 5-game hitting streak. Takes a strike, 0-1. Adrian with but 1 home run this year, 23 runs batted in. Tied at 4 as we enter the bottom of the 8th. Outfield is straight away for Gonzalez. Second baseman Jose Peraza about 8 or 9 steps on the outfield grass. Well, they play him as a dead pull hitter, but not with the full-throated shift. Michael Lorenzen out of Anaheim. There's a liner to left center field. That's well hit. And that is going to be tracked down by Scooter Gennett. A step onto the warning track.
Left fielder, number 35.
The Old Timers game was today, and we saw the tease for the post-game show. Jerry Hairston Jr. hit this fly ball. It's still being debated whether it was fair or foul. It sure looks foul to me there. I know it lands there. Jerry had a mic on, was doing his own play-by-play. 70 home runs in his career, and now he's trying to hit his 71st and have it count in an Old Timers game.
The way he was trotting around, I think he had 70 in a season.
He is, at his age, he is still so flexible. Age 41, he pats himself on the back almost better than anybody I've ever seen at that age.
And still no rotator problem.
No.
Bellinger takes high. 2 balls and no strikes. Yasmani Grandal on deck. Kenley Jansen warming in the pen. 2 balls and no strikes. Now 2-1 to Cody Bellinger. At 2:44. They got the shift on for Bellinger. Outfield just shifted a step toward right. 2-2. And there's Kenley Jansen. Bottom third of the Reds' order in the top of the 9th. Jeanette, Kevalan, and then a pinch hitter. Bellinger with the defensive swing fouls it off. Two and two with 1 out. Call strike 3.
That is right on the edge. That ball comes back just enough. Wow. That's very hard to hit, and if you do, hard to keep fair.
2 out, and here is Grandal. 0 for 3 tonight. 5 of his 6 home runs have come from the left-hand side of the plate. Logan Forsythe still on, or is on deck. On the bench for the Dodgers, you've got Turner. Kike Hernandez has already been used. Austin Barnes and Franklin Gutierrez. So you have 3 reinforcements left. There is a strike, 1-1. That's what Roberts has to work with. The Reds have Billy Hamilton, Tucker Barnhart, and Adam Duvall. So they're down to 3. And The best bullpen in baseball, the Dodgers. The third best in the National League, the Reds. And we're tied at 4 with 2 out and nobody on in the bottom of the 8th. To the left and out of play. Top of the 9th in Arizona, and the Diamondbacks leading the Brewers 3-2. Rockies routed the Cubs today 9-1. 2-2. Tim Adelman and Hyun-Jin Ryu tomorrow. First pitch 110. And the Dodgers hit the road. Off day on Monday. 3 games in Cleveland. Finally, the Dodgers are going to play an American League team. The only team that has not played Interleague as yet, the Dodgers.
Those Indians are 30-28 going into today. And they lost, so they're 30-29. They lost to the White Sox. They are in second place behind the Twins.
Interestingly, the Indians are game under 500 at home. The 2-2 foul back and out of play. You were there how long?
3 years, 95, 96, and 97. We're in the playoffs all 3 years, and the World Series twice, but didn't win either one. 95, lost to the Braves. 97, lost to the Marlins in Game 7 in extra innings.
A John Hart production.
He did a very nice job. Really pioneered the idea of signing young players to long-term deals to avoid arbitration, to keep his core together.
Into center field. Drifting on back is Schebler. And a 1-2-3 inning. Lorenzen keeps the Dodgers at bay, and we head to the 9th. Still tied at 4.
Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Energy Upgrade California.
Kenley Jansen on in relief as we go to the 9th, tied at 4, his 24th appearance, 3-0, and he's got that record-breaking strikeout to walk ratio, 41 strikeouts, no walks to begin the season. In 1893, they came up 60 feet 6 inches between the pitching rubber and home plate. And nobody has ever started a season with 41 strikeouts and no walks. Nobody.
242 relief pitchers in Major League Baseball so far. And Kenley has the #1 strike rate. 72.9% of the time he throws a strike. So what's most remarkable is his effectiveness when the hitters know they're probably going to get something over the plate.
But he's got that nearly unhittable cutter. As Scooter Gennett steps in. Gennett has doubled and scored a run. Struck out and flied to center. 4-4 tie. Beginning the 9th. There's a strike, 0-1. Kevalan is on deck. And then either Hamilton, Barnhart, or Duvall to pinch hit. Duvall has been sidelined with a flu. That just wasn't fair.
Looked like something he could handle, and then ended up looking like it might go at his body. Actually, halfway through that swing, he was getting out of the way.
It was like, I think I'd rather not, but I've already committed, so let's just be done with it, which is now what Jansen is thinking. 0-2 to Gennett, beginning the 9th. That's Seager, and that's the first out of the 9th inning. Boy, were the Dodgers ever breathing a sigh of relief over the winter when Kenley opted to return to the Dodgers. He made the decision at his wedding. A fairly monumental day, all things being equal. No balls and a strike to Kevalan.
Really, the big three targets were Justin Turner, Kenley Jansen, and Rich Hill, and all three targets were hit.
Bullseye. No balls, 2 strikes. Tucker Barnhart is in the on-deck circle. He will pinch hit. Reds have double barrel action in their bullpen. Iglesias and Storen. There they are. Forsythe, Puig, and a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 9th. One ball, 2 strikes. The 74 that Kenley wears, that was the house number in the house that he grew up in Curacao. One ball, 2 strikes. That is 42 strikeouts without a walk.
Looking to go up and in, but the cutter goes low and away. And you know what? Even when you make a mistake with such a late breaking pitch, still hard to hit.
Barnhart called back, and so Adam Duvall is going to pinch hit instead. He's been under the weather. He had 28 runs batted in the month of May. Most in the major leagues. And so with 2 out, Duvall is dangerous business. Just high. Duvall has faced Kenley twice and has been struck out twice. Peraza on deck.
There's a strike. One and one and two out. 1-2. 10 pitches, 8 strikes, and 2 balls. Jansen has the sign from Grandal. The 1-2 to Duvall. Got under it, and there is Bellinger in left. Last licks for the Dodgers coming up. Forsythe, Puig, and a pinch hitter when we come back.
Drew Storen enters the game. Pitched here last night.
27 appearances, or this is going to be the 27th. An ERA of just a shade over 2. Forsythe will lead it off, and the Dodgers hoping to walk it off.
Leading off the bottom of the ninth inning for the Dodgers. Third baseman number 11, Logan Forsythe.
Puig on deck, and you saw Justin Turner reaching for a bat in the bat rack. Forsythe is 1 for 3. Puig is 1 for 3. And then there is Turner. One ball, no strikes.
Logan had a line drive single off of Storen last night, so he's got very fond memories of seeing the ball come out of his hand.
Forsythe takes a strike, and it's 1-1. Third baseman Suarez less than 3 feet off the line. Outfield is straight away. Forsythe 1 home run on the year. Takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Puig and then Turner. Forsythe is done, and that's the first out of the ninth.
Right field, number 66,
couple fastballs to start the count, then a couple breaking balls to finish it off.
And now Puig. Over the course of his career, has been pretty good at that hero stuff. Puig, a double and a run scored tonight in 3 at-bats. Into left field for a base hit. Yasiel Puig 2 for 4 tonight. And here comes Justin Turner to pinch hit. On the 4th pitch of his first at-bat after a stint on the DL. Turner announced in a big way that he was back. And now with a chance to be the hero. Mentioned earlier, the Dodger pinch hitters as a group hitting .288 with 3 home runs, and Turner's got one of them. Outfield very deep. 1 ball, no strikes. Scooter Gennett in left field, relatively inexperienced at that position. So he might as well be the scoreboard operator out there. When Turner went down with the injury, he was the National League's leading hitter. Off to the right, now to play. 1-1.
The home run last night and then a couple other at-bats. He had home run swings and just missed hitting 3 home runs by a few inches. One got off the end of the bat, the other one got in on him a little bit. Justin feeling really good about where he is right now as far as his swing, even though he's only been back for a day.
Dodgers have had 3 walk-off victories this season. The last one a couple of weeks ago against the Cardinals. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Turner awaits. Puig the winning run at first. A swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Got him out in front of a changeup right there.
Forsythe, Barnes, and Gonzalez have been the walk-off heroes for the Dodgers this year. And as Mesoraco and Storen engage in conversation.
Justin Turner, the best 2-strike hitter in the big leagues this year, hitting .333 with 2 strikes on him.
Ball and 2 strikes, and Utley, who's 3 for 4 tonight, is on deck. So these are the guys the Dodgers want to have up here in the bottom of the ninth. One ball, 2 strikes as Puig leads from first. Mesoraco saves a base. And right now it's all about real estate, 90 feet at a time. One-run games this year. The Dodgers are 6-9. The Reds are 5-8. And the count is 2-2. Drilled into left field for a hit. Puig at second base is the winning run.
The sweet swing of Justin Turner's is back. No anxiety, no pressure, just smooth balance, read the pitch, and hitting above 333 now with 2 strikes. What's remarkable about that is the major league average with 2 strikes is 176.
Exit Drew Storen, enter the lefty Tony Cingrani. Of course, Utley has had issues with left-handed pitching this year, but he still has an opportunity to win this game when we come back. A hit last night and a hit tonight. The Dodgers should win it. Cingrani, just his 8th appearance. He was sidelined with an oblique. Utley has been called back. Franklin Gutierrez with a chance to be the walk-off hero. It's a lefty-righty decision for Dave Roberts.
Gutierrez 2 for 3 last night with a couple of RBIs on a ground ball to the right side, and Cingrani gave up that home run to Kike Hernandez, his 5th of the year yesterday.
Gutierrez brought on because over the course of his career has been terrific against lefties. He swings and foul tips it. It's 0-1. But ironically, or interestingly, he's hitting only .219 against lefties and .364 against righties. Messrs. Utley and Kershaw with the best seats in the house. Gutierrez has 3 walk-off hits, including a home run. So he's got a chance to be the hero. No balls and 2 strikes to Franklin Gutierrez. Corey Seager is on deck. One way or the other, the bottom half of the 9th inning belongs to Tony Cingrani. Ain't nothing going on in the Reds bullpen. So Puig is the winning run at the bottom of your screen. 0-2 to Gutierrez. Breaks his bat. The bat and the ball were heading in the same direction for a moment.
Fastball in. It's like, get out of my kitchen, but it did get in the kitchen. Chris Woodward barely avoiding the ball, as he also probably saw the bat flying in the corner of his eye.
And Suarez, the third baseman, was getting out of the way of the bat. It's easy to laugh now. Puig at second, Turner at first with 1 out. Bottom of the 9th. Cingrani to Gutierrez, swung on and missed, strike 3. Now Corey Seager.
Shortstop, number 5, Corey Seager.
A lot of anticipation when Corey comes to the plate in these big situations. Rookie of the Year last year. The crowd knows that. 3rd in the MVP voting, and they know he had an awful lot of clutch hits in the playoffs.
And the leading vote getter for the All-Star game among the National League shortstops. 1 for 3, a run scored and an RBI tonight. To left field, slicing toward the corner. Jeanette can't get it, and the Dodgers will win it. Corey Seager delivers. In comes Yasiel Puig. The Dodgers 5-4. Corey Seager, his first career walk-off hit. Jeanette just couldn't quite reach it. The Lexus play of the game. So Seager with the walk-off hit, and the Dodgers beat the Reds 5-4. That is a wrap for us. Oral Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and our entire group here at Dodger Stadium. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. In the meantime, it's time for Access Sportsnet LA. Talk to you tomorrow.